Prince William will never make up with Prince Harry, no matter how much pressure the heir to the throne is put under. That is the revelation from Piers Morgan, who, let's just remember for 1 second, is a royal insider, close friends with Queen Camilla. So I have a feeling I know where this is coming from. We're going to get analysis from royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz, in just one moment. But first, watch this.
But he's reconciled somewhat with his father.
Well, has he?
Cups of tea last month and all that.
A 40-minute meeting in 2 years.
I wrote a column and got absolutely lambasted for it. And it was completely caveated with, look, I know they have just been literally the scum of the earth when it comes to their own family, selling them out on Oprah, selling them out on Netflix and all the rest of it. But the King's had cancer, Kate's had cancer. Isn't life too short? Shouldn't Prince William be the bigger brother here?
I don't think
think
William will ever forgive him.
No.
And I'm not sure I would. I mean, if one of my brothers did that to me.
Yeah, but you'd hate your sons to be at war.
Yeah, but if one son did what Harry's done publicly, trashed the family,
but hang on, we've just been talking about Trump's power of forgiveness of you. I mean, how long can one bear a grudge? Because you say very openly you have on-off relationships with different celebrities.
I settle lots of grudges, yeah, but I just have heard William will never make up with it. Now, maybe he will. Families are complex things. I don't know them that well, you know. Maybe they do make up, but I think that he said a lot of very hurtful things publicly about the family, from Camilla to Kate to Charles.
Well, as you point out, he then backtracked to Tom Bradby and said, no, we were talking about unconscious bias.
Yeah, absolute horseshit. Sorry, horseshit. And we all know it was. We all watched that Oprah interview. I mean, I have a vested interest in remembering it because it led to my pretty sudden departure from Good Morning Britain for disbelieving it. You know, I think they've made their ugly bed with the viciousness they've gone after the family and the way they trashed the monarchy. They're very unpopular in this country. I mean, to be as unpopular as Prince Andrew, given what he's been engulfed with, is quite an achievement, but they are, if you look at all the polling.
That's a subject for another podcast.
So, Tash, a huge amount to pick up on there, but I think the most significant moment, because let's remember, Piers is friends with Camilla, they spend time together, he is a genuine royal insider, whatever you think of him, is backing up what I've reported for a very long time, which is that it doesn't matter what Harry does now. It doesn't matter what Meghan tries to do. It doesn't matter if they finally give the king access to his grandchildren. None of that matters. Like, William ain't going back on this. There is a ruthlessness when it comes to how William believes that Harry and Meghan should be treated in the future. Piers is completely right. He will not forgive. And why should he, by the way? Okay, half of you watching this are not subscribed. And the best way you can support what we do is by hitting that subscribe button. It is completely free. And turn on the notification bell to be alerted to our new episodes.
He shouldn't forgive him at all. I mean, he watched his grandparents. William was here when Harry was off gallivanting in Canada and America doing their victim narratives. He watched his grandfather slowly pass away as they trashed the entire family on TV for money. He watched his grandmother's broken heart as she became more and more frail. They knew she had bone cancer, and he's watched every single thing that Harry and Meghan have done and the knock-on effect, the arguments, you know, with his father at Prince Philip's funeral. I mean, Harry is such a vengeful, nasty person. He didn't even care. He didn't even have a moment of reflection at his own grandfather's funeral. The attacks on Catherine have been unforgivable. He's betrayed not just a brother bond, a royal bond. He's betrayed every possible way that I think you could betray another human being. I mean, he helped reveal text messages from Catherine and Meghan to try and vilify her to prove a point. I mean, I wouldn't forgive him at all. Plus, their continued, well, I don't know if it's continued now, but with the Omid Scobie with Finding Freedom, and then you had his second book where they named Catherine and the King as royal racists. Harry and Meghan have never put a statement out. And I do think that Prince William is seeing it with a clearer head. If Andrew is causing all of these problems many, many years later, even after he has been shamed, I think he can see that Harry and Meghan are going to continue to cause long-term problems for the monarchy with the things that they get themselves involved in. As long as they have those titles, they look like that they are still part of the working royal family. It's unfortunate, but that's the way that it looks. And I think Prince William will not risk them being a threat to his wife's health, to a risk to monarchy when he comes to the throne. And then obviously George, he's not going to want Harry and Meghan to be able to inflict any sort of pressure on his children or cause problems for them. I think that he's got his grandfather's head on his shoulder. And I always remember Prince Philip said of Charles that he thinks with his heart rather than his head. I'm glad Prince William is coming across in the very same way as his grandfather did. The royal family clearly needs more of an iron fist to sort out these wayward relatives that are hell-bent on causing problems. And in many ways, going back to our earlier conversation, I agree that Harry and Meghan are more of a threat to the royal family than what Andrew and Fergie are.
Totally. And what's been infuriating this week, Tash, is to see the usual suspects, and look, there are always people on the hard left in the UK, try and turn what's been going on with Prince Andrew into an attempt for us to all admit that we got it wrong on Harry and Meghan, which is absolute rubbish. We didn't at all. And it was really encapsulated perfectly by this column in the I newspaper by the truly awful Rebecca Reed, who wrote, the pair might be cack-handed on the public relations front, and I don't deny that they've got a special skill for annoying the British public, but compared to Prince Andrew, they're literal angels. And she's now demanding us, the British public, to say sorry, writing, we owe Harry and Meghan an apology. But there's a lot of people not agreeing with this. The Royal News Network posted, no, we really don't. Harry and Meghan are just as bad as Andrew and Sarah, but just 30 years behind them. If the monarchy doesn't address the Harry and Meghan situation now, they'll end up in a worse calamity down the road. Andrew has proven that. And Tash, you said something very similar, actually. You wrote, no, Andrew and Fergie have just a couple of decades on them. Harry and Meghan take freebies off anyone who offers flights, hotels, luxury mansions, etc. They are just as greedy and gluttonous and both refuse to take advice or listen to anyone. They are just as much a part of the problem. And you added, Tash, don't think for a second that these two won't also continue to get themselves involved with dodgy people. And look at some of those headlines. Russian billionaire behind mansion. And we know, Harry and Meghan flown for free by airline bus who is a wanted US fugitive. Not to mention the relationship with Tyler Perry. Not to mention the jewelry that Meghan's accepted in the past. So I totally agree. You know my view on this, Tash, and my view remains, yes, absolutely, let's deal with Andrew, but Prince William is right. This needs to now be a parliamentary process, and it needs to deal with a lot of them. It needs to deal with a lot of them. Andrew, Beatrice and Eugenie, I'm sorry, they're trouble too, as far as I'm concerned. They're taking money from Saudi banks, or at least one of them is. And Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lily. Strip them all. Deal with it. They're not working royals. They're a big reputational risk. This needs to be conducted in one fell swoop. That is my view. But let's start with this column. Tash, please, can you respond to ridiculous Rebecca Reed?
Well, I didn't get past the headline. I'll be honest with you. I was so annoyed about it. I mean, to try and twist it round to say that we were so very wrong and they're angels. They are hell's angels.
Literal angels.
Yeah, I know. It's unbelievable. It's many things that they have done. And I just find that anybody thinks, it's like Amanda Platel when she said, that Catherine and William, William should be the bigger person, and Liz Jones, they're all the same people. And if they were really having the same problems with the family member, I'm pretty 99% certain that they wouldn't be so forgiving if they had done even a fraction of the things that Harry and Meghan have done. They've betrayed so many members of that family. They have tried to tear down the Queen's legacy, the Commonwealth. I mean, being involved with that Netflix show, trying to compare the royal family now, editing the Queen's speech, the Empire 2.0, these are not angels. I mean, the spare, the stuff, the revelations he put in there, not just about the royal family, let's not forget. He humiliated the girl that he lost his virginity to. That dragged her up. The poor, I think she had a disability. I think she was even like the matron at his school. He dragged her into it. I mean, she's probably long since gone, but her family would have known exactly who Harry was being vile about. He is a deeply unpleasant person, and not just to his family. Meghan terrorizes her staff to the point that it's a revolving door. Anybody thinking that these two need an apology needs their head reading, let alone writing articles trying to convince the public otherwise.
100%. And I mean, you only have to look at what's emerged over the past 24 hours, don't we? I mean, what a literal angel who bullies staff so ludicrously that another PR chief has gone in what, less than 3 months, meaning that Meghan now has her 10th PR chief in just 5 years. And remember, as Angela Levin has reported here on this show, Tash, the numbers of staff who've left that is reported in the mainstream media is actually much smaller, because it's always the executive staff that is quoted, but no one talks about the household staff. Do you know what I mean? The cleaners, the housekeepers, all, yeah, exactly. So, apparently, if you actually look at the true numbers, the number of staff that have departed is far, far higher than what is reported in the mainstream media.
Of course, definitely. I mean, I've worked in office situations, and anybody that's at executive level often has 1 to 2 assistants. So I can only imagine what the true numbers are. And again, like Angela pointed out, the household staff. I mean, if she screams at a florist, the florist came forward to say that Meghan Markle screamed at her down the phone. It was so awful that she wouldn't stop, that she'd never work with her again. You can only imagine what she does to her staff. She must honestly be a terrorizer. All of the reports that have come out about her, and yet she's an angel. What a delight.
A literal angel, a literal angel. Look, Tash, more revelations about Prince Andrew. Shoot a scoop revealing that he's still insisting on being described as Your Royal Highness in private. Let me just take you through this. Publicly disgraced, privately defiant, Shooter Scoop can reveal that Prince Andrew continues to act like a full-fledged royal inside his Windsor home, insisting staff still address him as Your Royal Highness and bow or curtsy upon entering the room. Nothing has changed inside Royal Lodge, says one longtime household insider. The butler still says Your Royal Highness and the staff still bow. Andrew's made it clear palace rules don't apply inside his walls. Though King Charles stripped Andrew of his titles and decreed his HRH styling retired, sources confirm the Duke ignores the directive at home. He insists it is his birthright, not something the king can erase, adds the insider. While Buckingham Palace maintains Andrew's honours are history, legal experts note Parliament would need to act to make that true. Behind the gate, his loyal aides keep the illusion alive. He's living in his own royal bubble, says a source to the world. He's a fallen prince, but in his home, he's still the Duke. Now, I guess I would just ask Tash, does that matter really? Because, I mean, when it comes to public disgraces, nothing could be more brutal than what Andrew is going through. I mean, his royal coat of arms was literally removed this week from Windsor Castle. It's just not there anymore. So, look, he's not going to be in Royal Lodge for much longer. That much is clear. But does it matter that he has these staff who continue to show deference to him, having worked for him for many years? Do you have an issue with it?
What people call him inside his own home, I couldn't care less. I really couldn't. That's down to them. That's down to him. That's absolutely fine. But I think what the bigger factor here is, by allowing Andrew to say that he won't use his titles and do that outside of his home, by trusting him to do so, is no different to trusting Harry and Meghan. As it turns out, she's been using her HRHs behind the scenes, because she didn't care. And you just sense the same sort of arrogance and entitlement with Andrew. You see it with Harry. You see it with Meghan, someone who just married into it. She comes across as more entitled and arrogant than someone, such as Andrew, that's been allowed to be this way since birth. What happens inside his home, they can call him Mr. Teddy for all I care. But outside of it, it's Yeah, I do believe that the titles should be taken. I don't believe that Andrew should have the opportunity to refer to himself as a duke or be a councillor of state. But as you said, I mean, there's so much going on at the moment. It's happening rather quickly. He is being ousted, apparently, maybe, from Royal Lodge. They have taken down his coat of arms. The world is very aware of the amount of shame he's brought upon himself. So perhaps, at the moment that will satisfy a few. But like you said, the mainstream media, they're out for blood. They're not going to stop.
No,
Yeah.
no. And some of this, I think, is going too far. Also from Shooter's Scoop, Prince Andrew banned from King Charles's funeral. And he
Oh, that's
writes, the royal outcast world is shrinking by the day. Palace insiders tell Shooter Scoop that Prince Andrew, already stripped of his HRH military honours and now as Duke of York title, will not be invited to Prince William's coronation or King Charles's funeral. It's not even up for debate, says one courtier. William wants to start his reign clean, no scandal, no shame, no Andrew. The decision underscores just how radioactive the disgraced royal has become. After his fawning 2011 email to Jeffrey Epstein resurfaced and Virginia Giuffre's posthumous memoir reignited disgust. Even more shocking, insiders whisper that when King Charles's funeral arrives one day, Andrew's attendance may not be guaranteed. He's no longer part of the working royal family, says one aide. Public outrage would overshadow the service. Now, exiled at the Queen Mother's former Windsor mansion, Andrew is shut out from royal events, even Christmas at Sandringham. His title may still be Prince, sighs a source, but the palace doors are closing fast. I mean, Tash, look, I think William's probably right on the coronation, and it has been pointed out to me this week by Andrew Lowney that, the author of Entitled, the book that's really played a big part in bringing down Prince Andrew, that the Duke of Windsor, the disgraced Duke of Windsor, did not attend the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. But I mean, I really don't see how William can ban Andrew from attending his own brother's funeral. I mean, unless he's in jail, or in exile and doesn't want to return to the country, I just don't think he can. And would there really be public outrage? I'm not sure, to be honest. I think people would understand, as long as he wasn't in jail or in exile, that he would have a right to attend his brother's funeral. Am I wrong?
No, see, I wouldn't have a problem with Andrew attending even Christmas service with his family. It's just he wouldn't walk down the main bit with the main royals, when the working royals, when they go into all of the fanfare. It's his family, it's church. I don't think he should be completely excommunicated and cast out by his own family. Public role, yes, absolutely. But again, not attending Prince William's coronation. Yes, I wouldn't want to see Andrew walking up with the other royals wearing robes and being treated like he still had some honor. But would I have a problem if he was in a suit in the back? No one would really care, I don't think. I don't think there'd be a public outcry. And certainly not, God forbid, on the day, but, at his own brother's funeral. I didn't have a problem with him going to Prince Philip's funeral, and I don't understand why anybody would. That's his family. Yes, publicly, Andrew should have his life stripped away from him. But there, like you said, there needs to be a line. This is his family, and family events and things like that, he should still be able to attend. It's just the difference, and everybody knows the difference, of appearing on the balcony doing the Christmas Day walk. Even at the funeral recently with the Duchess of Kent, he shot himself in the foot when he laughed and was seen joking outside. He and Fergie played up to the cameras, and I think that really backfired on them. However, if they'd have just taken their place at the back, I think there would have been less of an issue.
Yeah, totally, Tash. I mean, the problem is Andrew's never done himself any favours whatsoever. Him and Fergie, look completely inappropriate, laughing and guffawing, and it's like something from Oliver Twist. Do you know what I mean? And oh God. Fergie's an interesting one, though, too. I mean, reports this week that she is now publicly distancing herself from Andrew. Do you think that's the case?
No. No, I don't. I don't believe Fergie would distance herself from Andrew. She hasn't done after all of these years. They're the most strangest divorced couple I think I've ever come across. They live together like they're married. They attend family events together, ascot and things like they're married. It's a very, very bizarre setup. But no, I think, she's very much like Andrew. She has his back. She doesn't believe that he's done anything wrong any more than she believes that she's done something wrong. I think those two should personally get married and go live in this little palace that someone's apparently got him out in the Middle East. Go live your life out there like exiled royals. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, they're just their own worst enemies. But I think where does the line get drawn when it comes to everything between Andrew and Fergie? But no, I can't see her leaving him or suddenly turning on him and trying to throw him under a bus. They are a tight-knit family, and they're very, very close with their daughters. So I think that the House of York will remain loyal to the House of York, as it were, even with the dukedom perhaps potentially being stripped.
Oh my God, Tash. Over to you.
I can't. Oh,
Please
to
say
feel
your true
part of the
feelings.
community, to be part of the community. I love it. I absolutely love it when I go around someone's house and they say, "Oh yeah, I've got something on the stove. Help yourself." Oh look, she's barefoot. She's wearing an apron. I mean, right. First of all, the apron thing.
Prince William and Prince Harry. Has the royal rift reached the point of no return? There are some family disagreements that eventually fade with time. Then there are others that grow so deep that people stop asking whether reconciliation is possible and start wondering whether it was ever realistic in the first place. For years, speculation has surrounded the relationship between Prince William and Prince Harry. Every public appearance, every interview, and every reported private meeting has fueled fresh debate about whether the brothers might one day rebuild their relationship. Yet recent commentary from broadcaster Piers Morgan has reignited the discussion, with Morgan suggesting that Prince William may never forgive his younger brother. It's an opinion that has sparked intense debate among royal commentators and viewers alike. While no one outside the royal family knows exactly what happens behind palace walls, the discussion raises an interesting question. Has the relationship moved beyond repair? According to Morgan, whose comments have attracted significant attention, any hope of a complete reconciliation appears increasingly unlikely. He argues that years of public criticism aimed at members of the royal family have left wounds that may never fully heal. Whether that assessment is correct remains impossible to verify. Neither Prince William nor Prince Harry has publicly explained the current state of their relationship in detail. But what is clear is that the divide between them has become one of the defining stories surrounding the modern monarchy. The tension between the brothers did not emerge overnight. Following Prince Harry and Meghan's decision to step back from royal duties in 2020, a series of high-profile interviews, documentaries, and Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, brought deeply personal family disagreements into the public spotlight. Supporters of Harry argued that speaking publicly allowed him to explain experiences he felt had gone unheard for years. Others believed those interviews and publications caused lasting damage to family trust. That difference in perspective lies at the heart of today's debate. One side views openness as necessary honesty. The other views it as a breach of private family loyalty. Those two positions are incredibly difficult to reconcile. During the recent discussion, Morgan suggested that Prince William's reported position isn't simply driven by emotion. Instead, he argued that the future king has responsibilities extending beyond family relationships. If William eventually becomes monarch, every decision he makes will be judged not only as a brother, but also as the leader of an institution that has survived for centuries. From that perspective, maintaining stability could outweigh personal reconciliation. Whether that is truly William's thinking remains unknown, but it illustrates why many royal observers believe the disagreement has become larger than a family dispute. The monarchy depends heavily on public confidence, continuity, and stability. Any internal conflict that repeatedly becomes international news inevitably affects public perception. That's why each new interview or memoir has generated such widespread attention. Every revelation adds another chapter to a story that already spans several years. Another point raised during the discussion concerns trust. Family disagreements can often be repaired through private conversations. Public disputes are different. Once disagreements become international headlines, documentaries, best-selling books, and televised interviews, rebuilding confidence becomes considerably more difficult. Even if both sides eventually wished to reconcile privately, the public expectations surrounding that reunion would be enormous. Every meeting would be scrutinized, every photograph analyzed, every gesture interpreted. That level of attention creates pressures few families could imagine. Of course, it's also important to separate verified facts from personal opinion. Many commentators, including Morgan and other royal analysts, offer their interpretations of events. Those interpretations can be influential, but they should not be confused with confirmed knowledge of private conversations or personal intentions. Ultimately, only Prince William and Prince Harry know whether reconciliation remains possible. Everything else is informed speculation. Still, one broader lesson stands out. Trust, once damaged repeatedly, often takes years to rebuild. Sometimes it never fully returns. History, both royal and otherwise, offers many examples of relationships that remained permanently altered after public conflicts. Whether this becomes another example remains to be seen.